We now want to share more insights into story and narratives with this masterclass by PBS NewsHour Weekend's Christopher Booker.
On the surface, filming a video is a simple exercise. Point a camera, push record, and you can capture your kid on a swing, a dog eating ice cream, or Post Malone falling on stage. However, filming a story requires three fundamental building blocks: video, sound, and theme. In this video, we will talk about effective ways to develop thematic narratives. We will discuss character selection, locations, and tactics that assist with thematic development. In nonfiction video storytelling, stories hold the potential to highlight social issues and expose wrongdoing. The best videos accomplish this impact through the careful curation of their theme. For the purposes of this lecture, theme refers to the idea or ideas that pervade the story. Oftentimes, there can be several themes running through a story. However, with video production, a breakdown of theme serves as a great organizing principle. We choose to organize theme by breaking it down into two tiers: primary theme and secondary theme. A primary theme is the simplest explanation of the story. For example, let's look at one of the most globally well-known fictional television shows, The Simpsons. In this case, the primary theme of The Simpsons is that it is an animated parody about a middle-class American family. Through this simple explanation, I'm able to establish my narrative footing. With greater clarity on the substance of my story, I now have the foundation to build a more nuanced secondary theme. Secondary themes are the motivating factors behind a story. They're often more complicated than the primary theme. For example, some secondary themes demonstrated within The Simpsons have included the ways an American family responds to an ever-changing economy, the evolving social structure of American life, and the importance of adaptability and forgiveness. Because secondary themes drive our motivation behind storytelling, it can be easy to pitch stories that lead with a secondary theme rather than a primary one. However, it's always best to identify your primary theme first. Take the example of wanting to produce a story that is about the consequences of gentrification in Brooklyn. While this is an important and worthy story, it's easier to address the complicated theme of gentrification when our story is surrounded by a clear and primary theme. The three tactics for identifying your primary theme are finding a character, finding a vehicle, and finding a technique. Let's start with character. A character can be an individual or group of people whose story you tell as a way to hone in on the bigger ideas and issues you wish to address. Returning to the previous example about gentrification in Brooklyn, finding a character could be choosing an individual or family whose experience reflects or illustrates gentrification. Through this lens, your primary theme could be a family trying to stay in their home amidst rising costs of living. However, if you're struggling to find an individual or a family in this story of gentrification, perhaps you could find a vehicle. A vehicle is a location, object, or item, something inanimate. For example, a corner store that's on the verge of closing, or a family-owned restaurant that has been in the neighborhood for decades. Choosing a vehicle for your primary theme can be effective for your story, as it helps to establish place as well as atmosphere and feeling. Now, the third and final tactic is technique. Technique is, for lack of a better description, a style construct that forms the backbone of the entire story. It is technique that tells the story in this powerful short piece from the Topsy Foundation. As was written at the time of release, in this beautiful and powerful spot, we see a woman who looks healthy descend into the depths of AIDS over 90 days. However, at the end, we realize that she is not dying, but rather getting better. Time is moving backwards, and we see her at her sickest, taking her first dose of Topsy's ARV AIDS treatment. In this case, the entire narrative is formed around the technique. Sound can also play an important role in technique. For example, if your piece chooses to only present still images, sound provides the kinetic movement of the piece. What do you want your kinetic movement to sound or feel like for audiences? Heavy? Light? Slow? Fast?